On a previous video, we talked about some essential upgrades that you can make to your vinyl collection. Well, today I want to talk about an essential upgrade I just made for my stereo, because for me, it's actually pretty huge. And depending on where you are in your hi-fi journey, you might want to think about getting into a pair of these sooner than later. This is a full review of the iFi Zencan Signature 6XX headphone amp and the Sennheiser HD6XX headphones, of which this amp is specifically made for. Full disclosure, and I'm really grateful to say this, I was sent these for consideration from iFi. They reached out to me after seeing a previous video of mine, and that is really because of you, the audience. You guys watching and commenting, liking and subscribing is really helping to build this channel, and I really want to see how big I can make it. So please continue watching and all of that stuff, and I will continue making these videos. And also in these reviews, I'm going to try and be as honest and upfront as I can. With that, iFi did not pay me to make this video. I was lent this equipment for 30 days to give it a good kick in the tires, so to speak. No money changed hands, and I do have to send it back to them. But I would not be making this video if I didn't go right out and immediately buy all of this equipment, because after having it for 30 days and listening to so many records and even digital files on it, I can say that I no longer need to search for headphones or even a headphone amp, at least not for a very long time. And I actually needed a solution for headphone listening, and iFi reaching out when they did was actually perfect timing. And we'll get into that later in the video. First, what all did they send me? Let's lay all this stuff out, see how easily it all hooks up, and then dive into the review. First off, out of the box, iFi sent me the iFi Zencan Signature 6XX headphone amp. We'll get into that name in a minute. We have out of the box the paperwork. The amp itself has this sleek blue design, which I really like. It's a solid unit, very well made. Here's the front side and the back side. The amp comes with this awesome power supply, and we'll get into more of that later. We also get a set of RCA cables. This is what you would get if you purchased the headphone amp yourself from any retailer. Then iFi included to test the Sennheiser 6XX HD headphones. Sennheiser offers these in a really nice wooden box to keep them safe. These headphones are very nice and light. They have an open ear design as well. These come with a standard 3.5mm cable, but iFi also included a third-party balanced 4.4mm cable. You can actually switch out the connections on these headphones if you want to change out your connection type. As well, they included this cable, which is a balanced 4.4mm cable to 4.4mm that's made by iFi. This is everything that they sent me to test out. Really cool. Thanks again, iFi. As I said earlier, I needed a headphone solution, and I'll briefly talk about my new integrated amplifier, the Duke Audio ST01. You might also know it by the Ayama name. This thing is a pretty awesome and cheap little unit, but little it is, and it has limited inputs and outputs, and I'm currently using the 3.5mm out to go to my powered subwoofer. I need a headphone solution because I have children and I like to listen to records after they go to bed, and also I just wanted to get into some headphone listening, and I'm really glad that I did. I also have the iFi Zen Phono, which is my phono stage for my RT85. Since I now have separate components, needing a headphone amp was essential at this point, but I was worried how it would hook up to my stereo, and would I need to keep changing out the connections to get from the subwoofer to the headphone listening, or worse, consider getting a whole new amp. Well, and this is not a gimmick or paid or anything. I don't even know where to begin to research headphones or headphone amps, and as soon as I started considering it, iFi reaches out to me and mentions that they saw a previous video of mine and thought that I might benefit from a headphone solution. Literally, here is the email, quote, "Maybe you want to listen at night when your kids are in bed." Check. And then this, "We can even send you a 4.4mm cable to go from your iFi Zen Phono stage balanced out to the Zencan Signature 6XX balanced in. Then we'll also send you balanced headphones to try it all out." What? Okay, this is literally the perfect solution. So to go over all that again, here is my exact setup. The source in this case is the Fluence RT85 with the Ortofon 2M Blue. I have the iFi Zen Phono stage, which if you're looking for a phono stage for your turntable, this is the one. It has many great reviews, and pairing it with the Ortophon is just clutch. Now, this is the part that iFi clued me in on because I am not the most knowledgeable when it comes to all these connections and whatnot. Using the Zenphono, it has a 4.4mm balanced output. A balanced output is better than a non-balanced output, right? I have no idea. Well, doing research, one of the best things about balanced cables is actually the signal noise and the reduction of that signal noise. And you can also run the cables longer with balanced cables, which is also something that we're going to get into briefly later. So I go RCA out of the turntable into the Zenphono and balanced out into the balanced in of the Zencan Signature 6XX, and then balanced headphones out of the headphone amp. The Zencan Signature 6XX is iFi's headphone amp specifically designed for the Sennheiser HD6XX headphones. The Zencan has a specific EQ curve that, when applied, compensates for the bass and some treble range of the Sennheisers. I tried out a friend's Sennheiser 650s, and they also give a similar result, and I watched a few videos about this as well, and they all conclude that the entire Sennheiser HD600 line would benefit from this signature curve. iFi does include a product chart as well to show what other headphones pair well with this amp, even if they're not balanced. What's really awesome is they actually include a button to bypass this curve if you want to keep things neutral. So technically the button adds 4 options. You can have no option at all for the neutral signal. You can have the first option, which adds the HD6XX EQ curve. There's also a second option which has this X space, which is adding a larger soundstage, if you will. And then there's a fourth option which can add both the HD curve and the X space. And I personally find that using both of these together is definitely the way to go. The build of this amp is solid, again, all analog components, so this isn't a digital conversion or anything like that. There are decimal gain power options at 0, 6, 12, and 18, but I find to not need them at all when using the Sennheiser HD6XXs. There are also 3 input options. We mentioned the 4.4mm balanced input, but there's also standard RCA as well as a 3.5mm for hooking up an iPhone with a dongle or something like that. I did try that, by the way, as well as using it with a normal 3.5mm headphone out, and there is a big difference between the two. I don't know if what I'm hearing is the difference in the headphones I was using, which I'm sure it is. I was using a set of Sony Studio Monitor headphones versus these Sennheisers, and the separation and soundstage is just extremely better. Everything sounds very spread out in these headphones and not right in the center of your head. And also, listening for long periods of time is much easier. I should take this moment to say I am not an audiophile. I prefer to use the term that Randy, the cheap audio man, uses, which is hi-fi enthusiast. I have not tried out 40,000 different types of headphones and amp combos, and I haven't been listening to headphones for years. I have a set of AirPod Pros. I mix music for video in Final Cut using Sony Studio headphone monitors or Audio Technicas. So that's my complete extent to headphones and headphone listening. However, I can say that this Sennheiser and Zen Signature combo is hands down the best listening experience I've ever heard with a set of headphones. The Sennheisers are great. They are very light and comfortable, and these are open ear headphones, so you're not going to use them on a plane, but this is about my home audio vinyl setup as well. Now, that being said, you can't turn them up too loud or else other people will hear them in the room. I really like these Sennheisers and the experience with the added bass curve of the Zencan Signature 6XX and the X space that it offers as well. It is just a great reference setup. What I like about this is that I can actually bypass my amp and obviously my speakers, and I'm only hearing my Zenphono stage, which again is great, and the Zencan, which is specifically made for these Sennheiser headphones. And Sennheiser headphones are legendary, so I feel like this is a really accurate hi-fi enthusiast way to go, eliminating the speakers and the amp, which could add flavors that you might not be aware of. Admittedly, again, I don't have expensive speakers either, or that expensive amp you saw earlier. This makes me feel like I need a reference sometimes to be able to kind of get over to, and so this amp is eliminating some of those variables and allowing me to be able to do that. I also added an extension cord so I can get from my console to my couch, and another benefit of that, since I'm using balanced cables, there's no signal noise with this longer cable run. Plus, hearing any pops and clicks or surface noise when you're listening to vinyl on headphones is extremely noticeable, so it's a great way to give your vinyl that first listen. Also, I can listen at night, which is something I was really looking for. I just got a ton of new vinyl in, and I've been running out of time only listening to it during the day when everybody's awake. You also don't need this with vinyl or the Zenphono either. You can go right from a computer or a DAC. They actually have a Zen DAC that apparently pairs great with this. I don't listen to a lot of music that way, and if I do, it's usually through my HomePods or through my AirPods or something like that, but I hooked it up to my Mac Studio, and the sound was exactly what you would expect. It was amazingly clear and gave you plenty of boost to your volume in a really clean way. Speaking of clean, another great thing that they offer is this power supply, which eliminates any unwanted interference in your line. It's actually not just a regular old power supply. And I never consider things like that when I'm actually putting together my system, so the fact that the device just comes with this is awesome. Getting back to the vinyl and what I actually listen to with these headphones, I went for a variety of stuff. I mean, I pretty much listened to everything in my entire collection with these things in the past 30 days, but some of the things that really stood out to me: Grant Green, the Latin bit, Blue Note Tone Poet vinyl. This is a Kevin Gray master. Everything that he does is amazing in my opinion. Everything that Tone Poet does is amazing in my opinion, but the gem here is Willie Bobo on percussion and the mastering of and the engineering of Rudy Van Gelder. I mean, the actual production of this record is just killer. So the sound of this in these headphones and the sound separation is just amazing. Another LP that we got into was some reggae. I listened to this Marcia Griffiths Naturally. I got this recently. I've been on a kick for some all new reggae stuff in my house, and this Marcia Griffith was one of the first ones I had to have. And this is a really awesome soul, rocksteady reggae album with her vocals. And I really wanted something with good vocals on it to be able to listen to some good vocals with these headphones. And this just sounded amazing with the headphones. Next thing is one of my first subscription pieces from Vinyl Me Please. I got De-Loused in the Comatorium from the Mars Volta, and this is like, this is rocking and pretty heavy, and there's a lot of auxiliary percussion in this as well, like Latin percussion. There's also a lot of really quiet parts, which is something I really wanted for this. I listened to this at night with these headphones on, and I just zoned out to it. I mean, this is definitely an album that you want to listen to with headphones on, with these headphones on. If you watched my video that I made on the Poets of Rhythm, one of the most important bands in my collection, this LP was a big part of that. This was like the main LP that got my funk and soul stuff started with me, and I just recently got this. I had the original CD of it, but I got it now on LP. This is a great record to listen to with headphones on. As I mentioned, that funky bass drum and all the things in that video, so go check out that video if you get a chance. Last thing, I wanted some heavy bass, and I put that to the test with Studio One Dub. This has got some heavy bass on it. The bass lines on this are so sick. My subwoofer is usually rocking my house when we're listening to this record. This is also the orange copy edition, and I think it's the 20th anniversary. It's a limited edition. Yes, Soul Jazz Records 2021. So this came out in 2021. And this thing is just awesome. If you love any dub reggae, you got to go check this out. Any of these Soul Jazz Records LPs are really good, but this sounded really good. The bass of this sounded really good with those Sennheiser headphones, and the Zencan Signature 6XX EQ curve helping out with this was just phenomenal. Again, what I really noticed from almost all those LPs is the sound space, the separation, the cymbal clarity on the Blue Note stuff comes through with a lot of definition with the combo of the Ortophon 2M Blue, the Zenphono, and the Zencan Signature 6XX to these headphones. It's just a great, dynamic, clear sound with an amazing sound separation and just all the things that you really want in a pair of headphones. Listening to them, I forget that I even have them on. I don't feel like I'm missing my subwoofer, but I do miss my sub because my first love is blasting my speakers. But this is giving me a really refined listening and really helping me grow as a hi-fi enthusiast. Some small complaints, and these are very small. This is a complaint that I've seen with the Zenphono, and I've heard a lot of people make this complaint. It seems small and trivial, but it's actually makes for a lot of problems at times. You can barely see the LEDs on the front of these two devices. If I'm standing up and looking down, I can't tell if the amp is on or not. I have to actually bend over and look, and boy, is that a chore. But seriously, that is something that can be fixed easily in the future with just making bigger LEDs. Also, I'm not crazy about the shape of these things. It's kind of this weird phase of like futuristic spaceship and retro. I do like the dark blue of the Zencan Signature 6XX versus the Zenphono, but these are all very, very small, nuanced things. I really do love both of these devices. The cost here, in my opinion, is a great point. The headphones can be had for about $250 to $300 depending on where you look. If you go with 600s or higher, you will pay more, but you will get awesome headphones too. With Sennheiser, you do get what you pay for. I've noticed this with their mics in their production line as well for doing video production. The Zencan Signature 6XX is $300 and you can find it cheaper out there as well. Links for all of this stuff are in the description, as well as even the cables and extension cables that I've been using. They also make a Zencan Signature HSM for hi-fi man headphones if you have those type of headphones as well, which again, I think it's just awesome that they make this amp specific for special headphones. I feel like it takes the guessing game out of things. I was recommended the Ortofon 2M Blue and Zenphono combo, which works really well. So now having an end-to-end solution with the Sennheiser HD6XX and the Zencan Signature 6XX is just a great combination. I would dare say perfect for beginner hi-fi enthusiasts. Adding in the Fluence RT85 and the Zenphono stage, you have a killer vinyl listening setup for just around $1,000, and it's reference level in my opinion. So go get some great LPs or Tone Poet Blue Note records or some VMP vinyl and you are set. Once again, I'm extremely grateful to iFi for reaching out to me and offering the chance to use this equipment and share what I found with you guys. They have not asked me to make a video, but it was probably understood that I would, since they know how sick this combo is and how good it sounds, and I love that. I love companies that are just willing to stand behind their products, and they have some really awesome stuff besides just these two, so go check out their site for any of your hi-fi needs. I do have to send this stuff back, but I have bought my own setup of this and I paid cash.
Is that your son?
No, I just bought this baby cash.
So please know that I wouldn't make this recommendation if it wasn't something I also wasn't willing to spend my own money on. I really hope you found something useful here, and if you do like any of this stuff, there are links in the description below, and they are affiliate links, some of them. They really help me keep this going, and please like the video if you like it, and definitely subscribe. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like any future videos, but come on, man, this is pretty cool, right? We gotta keep this going. Okay, I've said enough here. I'm gonna go chill with these headphones and zone out to some reggae. I'll see you guys on the next one.